grand a year if you could sell enough. You know, you don't need a lot of space to grow a lot of microgreens. So these are, we're doing pea, sunflower, radish, which pea and sunflower need soaking. So you weigh them out, and we have a fixed, whichever trays we use, we have the amount of grams per square centimetre or whatever, which I can show you. And then you would soak sunflower and pea for 24 hours. We always soak mustard too. We don't need to. You could dry seed mustard, but we just soak them all, and it helps speed up germination anyway. And the next day we come and fill up these trays. I think these trays are doing better because they fill the soil up higher. Like these trays, they put less soil in, and I think you just get uneven moisture, and that makes, you know, some are really well watered, some aren't. That's not ideal. Whereas you see these have become more even. So I think filling it right up to the surface, and then we use this wooden board to like press it down to get a nice firm flat surface, so you can easily spread the seed on the surface. So you always have the same amount of seed. It's always been soaked 24 hours. You spread it out on there, and then we stack them. And I also think it's better having the seed right up at the soil surface, because then when we stack them together, we put them on trays. So this was a big learning using the paper pot trays, is because they are so many perforations. You see they air prune when they're up off the ground, which is ideal for your crops. But what happens when once you've put the microgreen seed out, you then stack them for 4 days on top of each other to get compression, to get them to germinate. But what happens if I stack that on another tray of compost is it grows into the compost. So you can't do that. We didn't used to ever have that problem because we grew in trays without holes. So we started to then put them on these trays and stack them up in a pile. And that's why having the seed up at the surface is important, because we want to compress it to get good germination. You know, like how any like grain drill or anything, after it comes along and seeds the field, it will press the seed down and give it some compaction. You need that for good germination. So we've seeded all the trays, we stack them up in piles, and we put those rocks on top. So there's quite some weight on there. And they'll sit there for 4 days. And when you come back, it's pretty amazing, because the pneumatic power of all these seeds has just lifted everything up in the air. Right? There's a lot of pressure in this density of seed. So they've pushed, you can see them like pushing up, and then they get uncovered and they don't get watered for the first day, because they still have plenty of moisture from the original soaking. And then it's a game of managing water, basically. And overwatering, underwatering will result in patchy growth, and mold issues is the main thing. Now, most people will soak the seed in hydrogen peroxide or something like that to eliminate mold, but we don't really want to do that, so we just put a decent amount of time into washing the seed once it's soaked. So after we fill the trays and we're about to seed the seeds onto the tray, we'll we'll rinse them on this, it's like a green mesh outside, really fine mesh we pour the seed onto, and I'll stand there for like a couple of minutes just really rubbing the seed with the spray gun to just really rinse the seeds off. And that's usually enough to get rid of mold, so that feels better to me than chemical. Some people use bleach and all kinds of stuff, but it's like, I don't really want that. So ventilation is key for them, and watering is key. So right now we're trying different ways of watering, where they've been trying bottom watering, so you're not getting the tops wet. We've always top watered and we've always had no problems, but this year, using these new paper pot trays with all the holes, we've had issues because they dry out a lot quicker. And I haven't been in here enough to really see what's going on, but this, you know, we can't afford to have more than 2 or 3 weeks learning like this. It's got to be like that every week, every time. Otherwise, it's very quick to lose money if we're putting some money into seed. And so now we're at a point we need to start scaling it up. So we can sell like 2 of each trays a week. They will be harvested about 8 days after they are uncovered. So 4 days covered, 8 days uncovered. And then essentially you've got let's say there's about €200 net on them 6 trays if they grow how they should. So then we will double that, because that we can sell that just at Rico without trying, and we've got restaurants that want it too. So about now we should start doing double the amount. So it's 400 net a week just on some little trays sitting here, you know. It's pretty intensive thing. And we're living in the middle of nowhere, bear that in mind. Like if you're on the edge of a town with a bunch of restaurants, you could 10x that and be making thousands a week. It's pretty easy once you've dialed in the ventilation. Like it's by far, other than a tree nursery, this is the most profitable thing you can do. Is it regenerative? No. Do people like it? Yeah. And it's very nutrient dense. So the marketing point of these is like they are incredibly nutrient dense. And they're also incredibly flavor dense. Like if you try these mustards, they're super zingy. And that's like chefs love this as garnish, obviously, on the side of their dishes or whatever. But it's really bing. And peas, just you can try these ones. Like maybe leave the good ones because they're like actually good. But the pea is kind of like fresh pea pods, which is really tasty. And pea is really easy. Mustard is really easy. Sunflower often has mold issues. Sunflower is really earthy. A lot of people like it's a love-hate one. A lot of people really love it, but it's more earthy taste. But there are many other micros you can do, like all the herbs. But these are all 8-day ones. All the other ones start to have different times. Like most of the herbs take 2 months. So then you got it, but they're worth about 3 times as much, like 80, 90 euro, 100 euros a kilo.
Yeah.
But you've got to have it dialed down. Like you can't be having patchy trays when you're waiting 2 months for it. So it's. I'm not, there's nothing wrong there learning the ins and outs of it, but I need to get in here and, be very precise with day-to-day management, because it's all dependent on the temperature in here. Right now, it's like, we've got doors open. It's cold in here. Tomorrow, it's really hot and sunny. It's, there's big fluctuations, and that needs managing. So you need to really be on the ball with that.